Hey, up there, right up there is Little Round Top at the Gettysburg battlefield. So Gettysburg went on for a couple of days, went back and forth, but there was a crucial point on the second day to where it could have went either ways. And a lot of battles are like that. There's a pivotal point that kind of pushed it in one direction. So behind me was the Confederate lines back here, and all stretched along that line right there was the Union lines. As you look at it, the leftmost flank was Little Round Top, and it was a crucial piece of terrain. Number one, it was high ground, and number two, often the enemy is going to try to envelop you by flanking you on your either end and then coming in behind you. So the Union General Meade, he put troops up there led by a commander called Sickles, who wasn't the brightest bulb in the tree, and he initially moved up to the top of that hill, and it's a fantastic position, and it really gives a lot of there's a lot of rocks up there to take cover, but if we put artillery up there, you can dominate a lot of stuff. And just so you know, between the start of the war and this is 2 years in, technology and weapons had come a long way, especially rifles. Instead of using smoothbore muskets, they were using rifled, breech-loaded. They had telescopic sights on some of them. And from here to the top of that hill is 400 yards. That's an easy enough shot at that time. Now, with a rifle, breech-loaded rifle with telescopic sight on it, right? But artillery would dominate this whole area. But Sickles was up there and he didn't like that position, thought it was too rocky and it was too hard to get artillery up there. So he moved down into what's called the Peach Orchard. And he left that flank completely exposed. The only people he left up there were signal corps guys with the flags doing semaphore passing messages. So Meade sent an engineer officer up there to see what was going on, and he realized that it had been abandoned pretty much. So he rushed troops to the top of that hill. At the same time, the Confederacy saw it was vulnerable, and they rushed troops, and it became a race to the top of that hill. Whoever got there was probably going to win this battle. The Union got there about 5 minutes before the Confederacy, and then rained fire down the top of them. If you look, trying to attack up that hill into all those hidden positions while you're getting fired on, it's pretty brutal. So that was that pivotal point on the second day. Once they got that point and they reinforced it and dominated it, it kind of turned the battle towards the Union. Okay, Lee understood that the flank was not vulnerable. He tried to hit Cemetery Hill from the center, and there was a Pennsylvania regiment there who defended that Cemetery Hill, and they did 80% casualties, which is insane. I think they started with like 350 men and ended up with 50 men. It was insane slaughter. But yeah, in a 3-day battle, this hill was the most crucial point. So I've been driving around America for years, and you see all these historic markers and battlefield signs, and you don't pay much mind to them because you're always going somewhere else. It's only recently, since I got the Sprinter van, that I've been able to really do my homework and go see these spots and know what the hell I'm looking at. So been up and down the Shenandoah Valley for a couple of days and all the way up to Gettysburg. But I'm listening to a book on tape called Rebel Yell. It's about the life of Stonewall Jackson. And it's really cool to be driving along the road, listening about the Battle of Winchester, and then pull into Winchester and go see stuff, right? Go to Port Royal, go to Harper's Ferry, go to all these battlefields and know what the hell you're looking at. So we were driving back down through Shenandoah Valley today, and the Battle of McDowell came up. And as we listened to it, I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. Let's go there. So here we are. We're at the top of the hill. So in the Battle of McDowell, the Union General Milroy, they didn't really know where Stonewall Jackson was. He kind of disappeared a little bit. And they were chasing him around the valley. And Milroy and his division, I think, were camped at the bottom of this hill, a couple of hundred yards down here. It's kind of overgrown now, but Jackson came up from the back end and set up here. So the Confederate line goes about half a mile that way, and actually about 0.2 and 0.3. So the whole line is about half a mile long, and they set up on the high ground. And you know, doctrinally, they had a fantastic position, but the Union general that was down there, a guy called Milroy, he was a political appointee. I think he was a lawyer, which usually didn't turn out well. But this guy was a bit of a fighter, and he wanted to fight. So he actually came at the Confederates pretty hard, even though he was in the low ground, fighting uphill, and he was outnumbered. He had better weapons. He had rifles, as opposed to muskets. And the way that the hill was, it threw a shadow on them, and they were able to hide better. So they poured fire up here, and the Confederates took a pretty heavy beating, and then reinforced themselves. Jackson couldn't get artillery up here, or he chose not to, because he thought the terrain was too rough and he probably didn't want to lose it. So he just had shooters up here, and eventually the Union withdrew, and it was called the Confederate victory. But honestly, I think the Confederates took more wounded and more casualties here, and the Union general and the Union soldiers did really, really well. But it's really cool to be listening to something and then come up here and stand on the exact same terrain where it happened. So yeah, on to the next one.